Round here, them guns get the last word.
If you're on Twitter and you're recommended a Tekken related post, the chances of it being someone complaining about balancing is probably extremely high. It seems like no matter where you look or where you're at, people are complaining about, oh, my character sucks, please give me buffs, but then also requesting every other character to be nerfed. This bias is like so crazy, and I know I said it before, but when did Tekken become this way? When did every player become obsessed with getting buffs and other characters being nerfed? Where does this road lead us to? When does it end? Everyone blamed the developers for how Tekken 7 turned out in terms of balancing, but at the same time, they're following our lead, our requests. Feng Wei got destroyed in this update because we asked for that. Kazuya and Raven got buffed because Kazuya and Raven mains asked him for that. So where does this road lead us to? Here's the thing, right? How many players are actually losing because they don't have a 15 frame while standing whatever or a 13 frame Punisher? No, you're not losing because you don't have this one tool. You're losing because you're simply just getting outmatched, outclassed. People are better than you at Tekken 8. But instead of just accepting that and just practicing and getting better, excuses. Here's a discussion that's going on with Michael Murray. Good Guy Voice says, Sir Michael Murray, as a fellow, the most necessary Devil Jin main, how could you let this happen to our boy? It's been 2+ years dating back to Season 5 of Tekken 7. So, a Devil Jin main complaining about Devil Jin nerfs. Michael Murray says, everyone confuses this, but I do not make the decisions on balance. This is, okay, let's stop there, right? When something goes good, everyone thanks Harada. When something goes wrong, everyone blames Michael Murray, but they don't understand that the game is so much more complicated than that. I leave that to our balancing team. Balancing team consists of Micheal. If you don't know who that is, basically he was a really talented player, one of the best Kazuyas back in Tekken 2 era, and then eventually switched over and became a developer. Many of them did that. Many of them started off as pro players or professional players or whatever kind of player and then became a developer. He says, it's especially hard when it comes to my favorite characters, as it is seen as favoritism. That said, I did tell NKT_Dreamer maybe you can make him just a little bit stronger. Whenever they don't like something, a lot of players go to the developers upset. Like, oh, you didn't put our character in the game. Why do you hate our character? And then you get this long tweet from Harada where he's saying we don't hate any character. We all make these characters and we love these characters, each and every one. It's just sometimes they're not popular. Sometimes you guys don't play them and we can't keep putting them in the game because it's a waste of resources, of this, of that, and it just can't happen, right? Also, when you talk about favoritism, people always bring up a character like Ganryu. Ganryu was put into every game simply because that's Harada's favorite. He went on record saying that was one of his favorite characters because no one else likes him. Now, will they put him in Tekken 8? I highly doubt it. I think that era of just doing funny stuff just because is out. They're going to go with the things that make money and the characters that make money, and Ganryu most certainly does not make money. Now, on the topic of making Devil Jin stronger, this is pretty interesting. I fight a lot of Devil Jin mains on a live stream and whatnot, and I do notice that the character has come down in terms of power. I mean, obviously, he can't hit you from across the screen no more. He has to actually try to work a little bit, but the character still can make a lot of things happen, and he can still do a lot of things. And I feel like this whole buffing and nerfing situation is more so of an overreaction. I feel like everyone has a knee-jerk reaction to the patch notes, and they say, oh, they look at the paper and they say, oh, they changed this, that's too much, my character's dead now. And in reality, it's not true. In reality, the character is still very much viable and still very much works. I think we need a lot of time to show what character truly needs to change and evolve, and I think the developers is doing it perfectly. If you look at this update, they said this update will be the last major balance change of the season. It shows that they're going to change the game, balance and nerf characters, but then they're going to let it sit. They're really going to let it rock. Someone says, it's so weird how so many of these complaints get directed at you when it's public knowledge that Nikatsu heads the team. Michael Murray says, Nikatsu isn't solely responsible either. It's a huge game made by a few hundred people, so stuff must be delegated, but Nikatsu and I are responsible in the end. That said, it's a fighting game, so some people are just way too salty when often it's their skill to blame. And that's simply what I think is the point here. A lot of people, instead of saying, oh, I lost because of my own skill or my own this, they can look towards the balancing and say, my character's low tier, my character's missing this, and if I had those things, I would win. But in reality, you would not. Simply, you would not.